The morning sun spilled over the quiet town, brushing the rooftops with gold as if blessing an ordinary day. But there was nothing ordinary about this one. Beneath the calm surface of its streets, beneath the laughter of guests gathering at the grandest hotel in town, something extraordinary was about to unfold, a story not of glitter and champagne, but of justice wrapped in grace. White roses lined the marble steps. A black limousine gleamed like a promise of wealth and perfection. Inside the hotel, a man straightened his tie before the mirror, the groom, Daniel. To everyone watching, he was the picture of success, confident, handsome, about to marry into a powerful family. But what no one saw was the shadow in his heart, the arrogance, the pride, and the cruelty of a man who once destroyed someone who loved him more than life itself. The wedding was meant to be flawless, a display of victory. Yet fate has a way of humbling the proud. Because among the guests Daniel had invited was one he thought would never come, his ex-wife, Emma. The woman he had discarded like yesterday's dream. The woman he wanted to see broken, forgotten, defeated, but when the limousine door opened and Emma stepped out, radiant, poised, and holding the hands of three beautiful little girls, silence rippled through the crowd. The laughter died. The whispers froze. And for the first time in his life, Daniel realized that the woman he once tried to destroy had become everything he would never be: strong, free, and unforgettable. This is not just a story about heartbreak. It's a story about how grace walks into the room and changes everything. Emma Carter had always believed in love the way some people believe in miracles, quietly, completely, even when others stopped believing. When she met Daniel Hayes in her early 20s, he had nothing but dreams and charm. He promised her a forever that sounded like poetry, and she gave him her heart without hesitation. Her friends warned her. "He loves himself more than he could ever love you," they said. But Emma only smiled. She believed that love could soften even the hardest hearts. For years, she stood by his side, through late nights, failed ventures, and financial struggles. She worked 2 jobs, waitressing by day, cleaning offices by night, while Daniel chased opportunity after opportunity. Every paycheck she earned went into their future. Every ounce of her hope was tied to his success. Then, one day, success came. And with it, Daniel's heart hardened. The man who once kissed her forehead before work began to avoid her gaze. The dinners they used to share in their tiny apartment turned into solitary meals. He began attending events without her, making excuses about image and status. Soon, he stopped making excuses at all. The day he filed for divorce, he didn't even look guilty. He said, "You deserve someone more like you, Emma, simple, small town. I've outgrown this." Outgrown. That word cut deeper than any knife. He left her with nothing, no savings, no home, not even a car that could run without coughing. Weeks later, she discovered she was pregnant. Not with 1 child, but 3. Triplets. For a moment, despair nearly crushed her. But as she sat in her small apartment that night, one hand over her stomach, something inside her shifted. She wasn't powerless. She was a mother now, and those tiny hearts beating inside her gave her a reason to fight. The next few years were brutal. There were nights when the triplets cried in turns and she hadn't eaten all day. Mornings when her feet ached from cleaning houses, and evenings when she sat at her sewing machine, stitching clothes for extra income. Yet, through it all, Emma never complained. She learned to smile again, not because life was easy, but because her daughters, Lily, Grace, and Hope, gave her strength she never knew she had. Time passed. The girls grew, and so did Emma's quiet determination. Her talent for design caught the attention of a small boutique owner, who offered her a chance to work as a junior designer. It wasn't glamorous, but it was a start. And Emma poured herself into it with the same heart she had once given to love. Within 5 years, that little boutique became hers. Her designs, elegant, simple, meaningful, began attracting loyal customers. People loved not just her clothes but the calm, kind woman who created them. Then one morning, years later, a cream-colored envelope arrived in her mailbox. The handwriting was unmistakable. It was a wedding invitation. Daniel Hayes was getting married again. The invitation was printed on expensive cardstock, the kind that reeked of wealth and pretension. At the bottom, in bold gold letters, were the words, "You're cordially invited to celebrate our love." Emma almost laughed. Of all people, he wanted her there? The woman he left with nothing? It was obvious, he wanted to humiliate her. He wanted her to see what she had lost. For a long time, she stared at the invitation, then at the three bright-eyed girls playing with crayons in the living room. And something inside her hardened, not with bitterness, but with resolve. She would go. Not for revenge, but for closure. For dignity. For her daughters to see that no one, not even their father, had the power to define their worth. The morning of the wedding was golden and warm. Guests arrived in sleek cars, laughter floating through the air. Daniel stood at the altar, polished and proud, while his bride-to-be, Sophia, young, elegant, and wealthy, glowed under the chandeliers. Everything was perfect. Until the sound of another limousine arriving made heads turn. When the chauffeur opened the door, three little girls stepped out, holding hands. They wore matching yellow dresses, their hair tied with ribbons, their smiles radiant. Then, Emma emerged. The world seemed to stop. Her emerald gown shimmered softly as she walked, her eyes calm, her posture graceful. Every whisper died in her wake. She didn't look like the poor ex-wife Daniel once mocked, she looked like a queen. Daniel's smile faltered. Sophia's grip on her bouquet tightened. Guests began whispering, "Is that her?" Emma walked in silence, her daughters at her side, and took her seat among the guests. She didn't glance at Daniel, she didn't need to. The power had shifted without a single word. Throughout the ceremony, Daniel's confidence crumbled. Every vow he spoke sounded hollow next to Emma's quiet presence. Even the photographer couldn't help but capture her in the background, poised, glowing, unforgettable. By the time the ceremony ended, the story had already spread like wildfire among the guests. The woman Daniel once abandoned was now the picture of grace. His cruelty was no longer a secret. Sophia noticed too, the way people compared them silently, the way Daniel's eyes betrayed a flicker of regret. Her own wedding day no longer felt victorious, it felt haunted. After the ceremony, Emma didn't stay for long. She smiled politely, accepted a few kind words, and left with her daughters before the first toast. As she stepped into the limousine, the girls giggled, unaware of the tension they had just shattered. "Mommy, was that Daddy?" Hope asked softly. Emma smiled. "Yes, sweetheart. That was him." "Does he love us?" Lily whispered. Emma paused. "He doesn't know how to love yet," she said gently. "But that's okay. We do." And with that, the limousine drove away, leaving behind a wedding that no one would ever forget. In the days that followed, whispers spread across town. Daniel's arrogance was exposed. His business partners, his friends, even his new bride, saw him differently. Meanwhile, Emma's boutique flourished. Customers came not just for her designs but for the story behind them, the story of a woman who rose above cruelty with grace. She became a quiet inspiration, proof that real power lies not in revenge, but in dignity. Years later, when her daughters graduated college, people still spoke about that wedding, the day the ex-wife arrived, and the world saw what true beauty looked like. Because Emma had walked through fire and come out shining, not with anger, but with peace. She had lost everything once, but in the end, she gained everything that truly mattered: respect, love, and freedom. And Daniel? He learned, too late, that the most beautiful thing he ever had wasn't the life he built, it was the woman he broke.